Always trust.
We ask the questions.
What is needed in the world?
Is that going to
Odigrala je vodeću ulogu u borbi za prava žena, demokratiju i mir u Jemenu. Novinarka je, borac za ljudska prava, političarka i majka troje djece. Kada je 2011. godine dobila Nobelovu nagradu za mir, postala je prva Arapkinja i u to vreme najmlađa dobitnica ove nagrade. Prošle godine, nakon napada Huti pobunjenika, bila je prisiljena napustiti svoju kuću. I pored najava zvaničnika da će ju uhapsiti ako se vrati u Jemen, najavljuje skori povratak. Za Al Jazeeru govori Nobelovka Tawakkol Karman.
Tawakkol Karman, welcome to our program. Let's start with Yemen. How would you describe the current situation in Yemen right now?
First of all, before speaking about Yemen, I am so proud to be here in Kosovo, and through Al Jazeera Balkan, I give my big greeting, my big love to everybody here in Kosovo. I'm so proud to be here. Regarding to the situation in Yemen now, Yemen is suffering from the counter-revolution. You know that we made a great peaceful revolution in 2011 against the dictator Ali Abdullah Saleh. He is really tyranny, he is really corrupted and failure president. And Yemeni people decided to make peaceful revolution against him, and within 9 months of protesting against him, we forced him to resign. And after that, we made a great transitional period, peaceful transitional period. This transitional period based on tolerance, based on a very clear map how to lead the transitional period, and also didn't exclude anyone. And inside the transitional period, we organized the national dialogue. It was the most important thing that Yemeni people, all the parties, even the alliance of Ali Saleh, the dictator was with our table, and even with the militia was in the dialogue table, and we did the great outcomes of national dialogue, and we wrote the draft of the constitution. But unfortunately, after this a great peaceful revolution and peaceful transitional period, ousted president dictator Ali Saleh led counter-revolution, destroyed everything, announced the war against Yemenis. So as a revenge from him against the will of Yemenis to take their freedom, dignity and democracy. So Yemeni now face an ugly war, an ugly counter-revolution, but to still continue their will, continue their revolution against the dictator. And at the end, as a Kosovo people, as a Albanian people, how the price of freedom is expensive. We pay this price, and at the end we will gain our freedom and dignity and democracy.
I hope so. Is the truce which began in April holding?
The truce it's now there is a truce. And it's between the legitimate president and legitimate government and the ousted president Ali Saleh and the militia of Al-Houthi. So there is a truce, but there is also the attack, and the violence, So they cut the truce. It's from the side of Ali Saleh forces, the dictator forces, and the militia of Al-Houthi. Especially in Taiz. Taiz is the most important city in Yemen. It's the biggest city, and it's the capital of the peaceful revolution. Because of that, until now, the ousted President Ali Saleh, the dictator, still put this Taiz city under the siege. So now, Taiz is suffering a lot now from attacking, from killing people. Every time there is people being killed, even with the truce, what they call a truce.
It's not been respected.
Of course, by the Ali Saleh's forces and militia of Al-Houthi, especially in Taiz, and also it's under siege, as I told you. Now the water doesn't enter to Taiz, food, medicine, even the oxygen for the hospitals. So Taiz is suffering a lot from the truce. But from other hand, there is, we also calling for, peace process, and that is what is happening now in Kuwait. And we hope that this peace process to achieve the sustainable peace, and this is a very big subject. Sustainable peace, not temporary truce that is just giving those who fight, the militia of al-Houthi and Ali Saleh, giving them just to rest and then to kill Yemeni again.
You have emerged as a leading voice in Yemen to stop the violence. Was it difficult for a woman to stand against those who supported the violence?
Look, let's talk about not just about the obstacles that face women, that obstacles that face every citizen in Yemen, and also what is the obstacles now to reach to the sustainable peace. We want peace, but the peace must lead to the disarmament the militia. The state must be the only body who own the weapons and who control all the territory, no other armed group. And third, the militia has to transfer themselves to a political party and to participate in the political field in a peaceful way, to don't use violence or weapons for gain their goals. And fourth, which is guarantee the transitional justice. We need real justice, and transitional justice means that the right of victims, the victims has rights to have, they have to give them their rights, and also the leader of crime has to be trialed. So this is the sustainable peace that we, and after that, and also when the militia become political party, and then we will start to make constitution, referendum for constitution, because we already signed on the draft of constitution and then the election. So it is a comprehensive solution, and it's through, in general, it's 2 points: disarmament, the militia, and democracy. This is the 2 very important solutions that describe what means of sustainable peace.
According to the reports, the conflict in Yemen has killed more than 6,000 people and displaced more than 2.5 million people. The situation now in Yemen is worse than it was before the revolution. What went wrong?
Yes, it is really an ugly war that happened now, that Yemeni face. It's an ugly counter-revolution, ugly revenge from the ousted president Ali Saleh. He toppled the transitional authority. He occupied the capital. He put the legitimate president under the home arrest, but then the legitimate president escaped from the capital Sana'a to Aden, and then now the legitimate authority, the legitimate president, and Yemeni, not legitimate, Yemeni is control 80% of the Yemen territory. There is improvement in on this field, on Ali Saleh, he and the militia of al-Houthi isn't accepted by the Yemeni people. Yemeni people against them. Yemeni people have 3 fields to face this coup, this revenge from Ali Saleh. First, which is the peaceful thing, the peaceful movement, and that is what I belong to. And I always believe that we can face violence by non-violence, but in fact also there is another 2 field on facing Ali Saleh's revenge, the dictator revenge, which is an armed resistance, and also the President Hadi with Arab coalition that helped him to return to Yemen and to free the 80% of the Yemeni territory from Ali Saleh forces. But Yemeni people will not give up on front of this dictator. and Yemeni people will return their capital again, and Ali Saleh will be punished, will be tried like what happened with Milosevic. He is the one. All the war that is happening now in Yemen, it comes from the head of a snake, which is the dictator Ali Saleh.
Last year, you were forced to flee the country after Houthi rebel fighters attacked your home. Have you been able to return to your home ever since?
They didn't just attack my home. They attacked all Yemen, especially the capital. But my home was the first home that they occupied, and that is describe what is Ali Saleh doing. Ali Saleh, the dictator, is making revenge from the leaders of the peaceful revolution that forced him to resign. Because of that, the first thing that he occupied, it was my home. The people that now we have more 10,000 disappeared people inside his prison, inside we don't know, unknown places. Most of them, they are peaceful youth revolution. Most of them, they didn't even belong to the unarmed resistance against Ali Saleh. They belong to the peaceful revolution. So yes, I am since 1 year when they occupied Sana'a and occupied my home and occupied most of the governorates, and it was on September 2014. I was at that time in Japan in a conference. But then when I wanted to return to Yemen, they put my name under the list that they thought that I am in Yemen, and they said my name was the first name, that I will not be able to, that they put me in arrest, home arrest, you know, yeah, that I can't leave Yemen. But I told them, oh my God, I am outside Yemen, so you will not be able, because they wanted to me to be silenced on their crimes. They thought that they will shut down my voice, but I was lucky. I was outside Yemen at that time, and they couldn't, you know, arrest me. But I will return. Huh?
Do you miss home?
A lot, a lot. But I will return very soon, and maybe Al Jazeera Balkan is the first channel that knows that I will return very soon.
But aren't you afraid that you will be arrested?
Of course they will arrest me. Of course they will try to kill me like what they did for me before. They arrested me many times. They tried to kill me many times, but I'm not afraid from them.
So you will insist to go back home?
I will go back home.
Soon?
Very soon.
Have you had some negotiations with anyone to
No negotiation. I will return to my home to continue my struggle against the ousted President Ali Saleh, against the dictator, telling the people what happened, telling the international community what is really happening in Yemen. They think that it is a proxy war. Yes, between it's a proxy war. Yes, between Iran and Saudi, as they describe it, between Iran and Arab people, because Iran wants, you know, to control the Arab Peninsula. But in the reality, this proxy war came after the internal war that is announced by the ousted President Ali Saleh, who destroyed everything, who destroyed houses, who occupied, who destroyed mosques, who destroyed schools, who put the people inside prison, who closed the newspapers, TVs.
But this is Yemen that you will be returning to?
Yes, this Yemen that I will return to free again.
Are you going to go back with your family, or just
this is a secret.
It's still
yeah,
a secret.
This is, but I will return back. But yes, we suffer now a lot, and we face this an ugly counter-revolution, an ugly war. But we know very well that the price of freedom is very expensive, and we know very well that we did that we are on the right way. On the right way for, you know, for making a good state for the next generation and for all over the world. So we are paying this price, and we yes, the moment for for having a new Yemen, it's very close.
In your speech when you received the Nobel Peace Prize, you said, resistance to repression and violence is possible without relying on similar repression and violence. Do you support Saudi-led coalition military campaign which aims to defeat the rebels?
Again, I still believe that we can face violence by non-violence. And I always believe that non-violence is the most effective way to reach to your goals. It's the most effective, and it's most cheaper even price, with blood, with the destroying, with everything. Peaceful way, it's the most important thing that we should keep on it. But from other hand, I can't blame people who defend on their territory, in their cities, on their lives. For example, in Syria. People who unfortunately been forced to carry weapons against Bashar al-Assad. I still hoping that they didn't go to carry the weapons, but also neither me nor anyone else can tell them why do you make that? They made it because the international community didn't help them. Because for 6 months they were in the Syria, they just protesting by carrying flowers, by carrying dreaming, by singing, and Bashar al-Assad kills them every day, and they forced them. And also now we see ISIS and Daesh as a result of repression, as a result of dictatorism, as a result of silence from the international community. Now people in Syria face two ugly wars from the dictator and from the terrorism. So for me, I was, and I still, and I will keep on calling for peaceful movement, for peaceful actions, and I call everybody to carry on this tool and in this action, and to don't go to any other actions, because other actions has a lot of problems.
But it's possible? You're convinced that it's possible to achieve this only by peaceful means?
I believe that yes, it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah, but also it must be listened by the international community. What happened in Albania? What happened here in Kosovo, in Bosnia and Herzegovina? The international community listened to them after, of course, a lot of time, but and they listened to them and they helped them to stop the crimes against them, and they put Milosevic in the International Criminal Court. Why don't they do the same thing with Ali Saleh, the dictator Ali Saleh? Why don't they do the same thing with Bashar al-Assad? So people, why didn't they make that before, and why don't they make it now? So it's very important for the international community to be with their values, and also to help the people, and to make its duty. The duty of the Security Council is to be with the people.
But there is a difference, there is substantial difference. For example, in case of Kosovo, what happened is that we had a NATO bombing campaign. If you're saying that there shouldn't be a foreign intervention in Yemen, how can this be achieved?
I will tell you there is two things. I don't call for the foreign intervention, the same intervention that what happened in Kosovo, but it will be as the last solution, as a duty from international community, from Security Council. It's duty to protect the human beings from those the perpetrator of the humanity crimes. So it's their duty, but it will be the last solution. The first thing is freezing their assets, following them, putting their name in the ICC, making buffer zone. There is a lot of things before that thing. But with Syrian, for example, they don't make anything like that. So in Yemen also, it takes time to put the name of Ali Saleh as you know, to put his to freeze his assets, for example. Until now, he kills Yemeni people every day, and they didn't put his name in the ICC, you know, International Criminal Court, you know, list. But so this is the rule of the international community, but also the rule of the people to don't lose hope and to don't just wait from outside intervene. They should continue the rule on facing all this kind of violence, all this kind of counter-revolution. For me, I always prefer the non-violence, you know, act. But speaking about the intervene in general, look what is happening now. For example, the refugees, please. I visited, you know, the camps of refugees in a lot of in Croatia and also in Serbia, in Bulgaria, in Turkey, and in Germany. And I noticed that there is two kinds of the that they are three citizens that they are refugee. They are from Syria, from Afghanistan, from Iraq. And now the question: why are they fleeing from their houses, from their countries? So it's for two reasons. The first reason is their bad intervention in Afghanistan and Iraq. They just intervene and, you know, threw the bullets, and they bombed, and they thought that they will, you know, they will face Taliban or Saddam Hussein or you know, terrorism by, you know, by bullets, and they didn't make you know, a whole map for democracy, a whole map for development. So they make just the bullets. So in Iraq and Afghanistan, it's like bad intervention, not a whole map for democracy and for development. And in Syria, non-intervention. Now, so this is when we talk about intervention, it must be led to real helping people. Real helping people means being against the dictator, means building democracy, and means building development.
In Yemen, there are also active Al-Qaeda and ISIL group affiliates. What role do you think all the people, but especially women, can have and can play in battle against extremism?
In Yemen, Al-Qaeda and ISIS is the groups of the dictator Ali Saleh. They are, no, he is the one who funds them. He is the one who gives them the weapons. He is the one who gave them the territories, even when he was president. He used the Al-Qaeda as a tool to have money from the West, and also as the tool to be against his opponent. And the same thing after he resigned. Now he used Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and there is no ISIS a lot, it's very small group. But Al-Qaeda as Al-Qaeda, he used Al-Qaeda to topple the transitional period, and also to be against, you know, the international, to be against revolutionary people and against the change. But also there is a problem. It isn't that he used this ideology, he used his fingers inside that, and that is not my speech, it's also the Security Council talk about that the dictator Ali Saleh supported Al-Qaeda in Yemen. But also there is a problem with Al-Qaeda, and how can we face a problem of Al-Qaeda, and how can we face the problem of terrorism in general, not just Al-Qaeda, terrorism in general. And Al-Qaeda, it must be a comprehensive solution, comprehensive battle that needs development, that needs democracy, that needs justice. It's a very important. that needs stopping tyranny and dictatorism. So the terrorism is the result of tyranny, of injustice, of corruption, of lack of development, and also of misunderstanding to the religion. So we need to work, we will need to work on all this field. We need to work on education. We need to work on fighting poverty. It isn't just throwing the bullets. That make people more frustration, more, and also that make people more angry. That make people, you know, yeah, that no sense. And until now, they didn't make a real, you know, solution for that. So we are in Yemen. We are the one who can fight Al-Qaeda because we gave the project instead of Al-Qaeda, which is the peaceful way, the peaceful method, the peaceful movement. And the same thing in Arab Spring. By the way, in 2011, 2012, this is the most very important example to all the world, how Arab Spring forced the terrorism and the extremism to be silent, but to die, to start to die. Because there is another thing, which is peaceful method, that convinced people that you can reach to your goals by carrying flowers, by singing, by demonstration, and we did it in Tunis and in Egypt and in Libya and in Tunis and Egypt and Yemen.
Tawakkol Karman, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Always trust.
We ask the questions.
What is needed in the world?
Is that going to be?